So tonight's question is very simple. When federal power meets the people, who protects the Constitution? We're going to watch some clips here of helicopters, armed vehicles, mass agents, pepper spray, snipers on trucks, and civilians yelling, "Where's the warrant?" We've heard veterans, people who bled under this flag like myself, telling ICE and federal police, if it's illegal, don't do it, hold the line. So let's go right to the truth and have you to provide more context of what I'm getting at.
No, push. Get out of the way for the Bearcat. Clear the way for the Bearcat. Completely clear. Four hands.
Now, first and foremost, I don't know how in the hell they can make that cinematic. Now, this was posted by Secretary of Defense Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. It already has 12.8 million views, as if this is some sort of recruitment video to join ICE or to even join the military. Some of these viral reels look like recruitment promos. Fast cuts, tactical music, smoke, go, go, go. That's not the law. That's spectacle. Now, the law says Fourth Amendment in the protections required of probable cause in most cases and a judicial warrant to enter homes of private spaces. Immigration detainers are not warrants. Courts from the First, Third, and Ninth Circuits have repeatedly warned agents that civilian immigration arrests can't bypass the Constitution. And this line matters for you and me and every agent in uniform. Because again, a lot of American citizens are getting swept up in this. Already, you see that they're painting a very broad picture with this video. They make sure they're getting close in on those who look Hispanic and Black. Have you seen any women? Have you seen any children? Well, this particular report, women and children were actually zip tied as well. But if you notice, they're only showing the men, and they're mostly young men that are brown and Black. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, they depicted every single person in that video as a thug, as a gangster, as a cartel member. They picture every single body. And that's why I say that the line actually matters. Now, as we come through some of these videos, you're going to get exactly what I'm referring to. We're not going to be here long. We're going to go through this. Now, there's been so many instances exactly like this. Slumlord wants to offload a property, so they call ICE and say that the suspect, migrant, gang trafficker, whatever it may be, ICE comes in, humiliates, detains, intimidates, and robs every tenant until the building clears out. People are now stating that this is a scam and this is fraud, that a lot of these slumlords in a lot of these big cities like Chicago and New York are using ICE agents to clear out their building. Now, I want you guys just to think about what you just saw. You saw someone like a promo video, recruitment video, but this was ICE agent raiding a U.S. American building. Some of you are like, well, all illegal immigrants was in there. No, there were American citizens in there as well. And they got treated the same way. Well, they should have reported illegal immigrants because now they're complicit. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not how America works. Whether it be fear or respect, they didn't report or they didn't assume that these people were illegal. They're the citizen where they can make a citizen's arrest. I'm just kind of debunking and refuting a lot of the idiotic responses that I received in the comment section. No, ladies and gentlemen, I am for illegal immigrants being deported. What I am against is federal law enforcement agencies and agents violating and basically crapping on the Constitution. Crapping on the Constitution. If that is going to be the founding fathers' foundation of what this country is built on, then why aren't any federal agencies, why aren't any federal agents adhering to the Constitution? Because it seems as though that anything that Donald Trump says and or do, that people who are quote unquote on the right, I'm not on the left, I'm not on the right, I'm not in the middle. Got to point that out because some people are, oh, you're just a liberal. Not a liberal as well. Here's the thing. If you're going to continue to keep doing this over and over again, what happens when it hits a place near you or a family member? You're going to start to see the country turn on itself here very soon. That's what you're going to start to see. When we look at things like this, and people are going to use this. One thing I found out about America, the most skillful and the most intelligent scammers come to America. You know why? They are brothers or sisters, and they coincide with big business people who try to cheat the law in order to get over. Now, people will talk about Donald Trump and his billionaire adventure, that he's actually filed for bankruptcy 3 or 4 times. Now, that's not uncommon, by the way. A lot of billionaires and millionaires have filed for bankruptcy, Chapter 13, Chapter 11, for whatever reason. These are the loopholes in our country, and the politicians know it. That's why when it pertains to money, have you noticed there's really no legislation that really revolves around money and how billionaires and millionaires and people with, big business, how they go about making or taxing their money? Why do we still have tax loopholes in the tax code? I digress, but this is all a scam. There usually says dozens of mass armed federal agents backed by a Black Hawk helicopter descended on a Chicago apartment during handcuff everyone, including kids. Okay, this is not me just stating this, including kids, then checked them all for outstanding warrants and immigration status. I want you guys to just picture that. They handcuffed everyone and evacuated the building, and then they checked them for outstanding warrants of immigration, meaning that they went in and had no evidence. They had no proof. They had only had assumptions. They probably only had empty reports. Now, is it possible that some of them are illegal immigrants? Absolutely. Is it right then that they went in the way that they did? Absolutely not. This violates basically any constitutional law. Any amendment that you can make it applicable is violating it. What about the decency, the dignity, or just about a warrant that you have to search the premises? I think that will serve best as well. Now, these are the National Guards that are being deployed to Chicago by the way of Texas. These are Texas National Guard that they're now landed in Chicago. And they'll be training with the Chicago National Guard to, again, decrease the amount of crime in urban cities, mostly Black communities. Okay, so everything is being targeted right now. Everything is being targeted. Now, am I for the increased crime rate in Chicago or any other urban city that they're a majority Black? Absolutely not. I want the crime to decrease. If the mayor and the governor are not taking the appropriate steps, then if the president steps in, then in some regards, I'm inclined to, okay, how's this a bad thing? But if I have reports that are consistent, that these cities are taking every measure with their law enforcement budget to decrease the amount of crime in their cities, then why would I allow, or why would I want the president to deploy troops? Violence and crime doesn't just dissipate and evaporate and just goes away just because National Guard troops are coming inside the mix. It may decrease momentarily and temporarily, but they're not going to be on ground the entire time. Now, I don't want to speak ill will of my brothers and sisters in uniform, but this is ridiculous. I've been out of the military, what's it been, 5-6 years now? Ladies and gentlemen, these are National Guard. They have everyday jobs, but one thing that they must do, and they know this, is they must stay combat ready. Combat ready. Now, I'm a retiree, and I'm still combat ready in those regulations. I don't know what sort of, listen, these guys are not fit to fight. Are they fit to stand in place with weapons to show, to have a show of force? Absolutely. But unfortunately, these guys are not fit to fight. Maybe the guy in the back, maybe the guy in the back is fit to fight. You see that guy in the back right here? The black guy, he's probably fit to fight. I'm looking at his body structure, but look at these guys here. This guy, this guy, this guy, and to be a female, she looks fairly large. And now, again, I'm not trying to speak disparage of my men and women in uniform. I respect them in their sacrifice. Don't get me wrong. But this right here, I didn't agree with everything that Pete Hegseth had to say about veterans, but I did agree with him when it comes to generals down to the lowest private needs to be combat ready and within weight and height standards in the military. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that 4 out of the 5 are busting tape, meaning that when they get taped because, again, they're overweight, they're going to violate Army law. They're going to violate Army regulation of busting tape, because I'm looking at some of their waist here and it's like 45 to 50 inches. And that's not to be disparaging. I'm just giving my account. But the kind of reason why I showed this is because a veteran in this next clip tells federal personnel, don't resign, stay, refuse unlawful orders, and file the report they expect without carrying out any illegal directives. Shout out goes to this next brother who's a veteran. I think he retired roughly around 9 years ago. But I'm gonna let him give his tale, because this is one of the important contextual content that videos actually need. Then they're going to make a mockery of this because he's black. Because for some reason, because we black and we serve, we are different than white or any other group when they serve. No, we protect, we die, we fight for this country just as well as anyone else. We love this country just as well as anyone else. But the reason why I like this clip, and again, this is a trigger warning, he is going to use profane language. So if you have innocent ears, again, you might want to mute this part. But nonetheless, he's going to give the real, I'm not going to stall here.
I think we actually have a real democracy to save.
Here's the big problem, guys. It's the fact that America was so fucking corrupt and let his ass back in there. This is so much bigger than Donald Trump. It's the fact that you got somebody that is openly corrupt, openly racist as Trump, and they still bent the knee. That lets you know it wasn't about Trump. He's just the avatar. The country has always been white supremacist. This is the country I grew up with. I remember these white people losing their mind when I first moved in our apartment building in California. Called me the horror ER, said I was bringing down the property value. That hatred has always been there. I couldn't leave base in Fort Leonard Wood because of the racism. They didn't want to rent to me in Indiana because of the racism after I did fucking 4 tours for the country. And so now I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, right? Let that shit burn. I don't think someone as corrupt as Trump and his administration are giving up power. I just don't believe that at all. Because the moment he gives up power, his people go to jail. Stephen Miller's going to prison. Everyone who's been doing all the Navy guys who killed those Venezuelans, them are fucking war crimes. They will hang for that shit. They will spend the rest of their fucking life in prison for killing these people.
This is a brutal ethical dilemma. And on the other side, activists are going to argue, resign so you're not complicit. I agree with what he's stating, stay. Because here's a sober reality of y'all. The Constitution needs defenders inside and outside. Everyone shouldn't just give her their arms. No, I can't do this no more. No, you be the one that upholds the law. You're the one who make the truthful reports. Because we need defenders that are inside and outside. We need whistleblowers, principal non-commissioned officers, municipal lawyers, and legal observers and journalists that actually are going to tell the truth. No spin. No perspective from the right side, no perspective from the left side. This true, authentic, real, raw truth. All of them make abuse harder and accountability closer when we have transparency like that.
And so they're going to fight to try to hold on to power. And one of us needs to be ready to bring that fight to them when the time comes.
Was this something from your childhood or growing up? that inspired you to want to serve your country?
The Army, honestly, was always my backup plan. Right? When I was young, I wanted to be an astronaut. I loved sci-fi. I loved science itself. I was obsessed with like space travel, believe it or not. But really, when I started going to like different schools, my junior high school was heavily white, so dealt with a lot of open racism, a lot of fights. But really, I joined the Army because of LA riots. I was just tired of the violence, tired of getting shot at for free. Just tired of it. I honestly believe that I had a better life expectancy as a soldier than I did in my own neighborhood. And so I just left. I think I probably was a recruiter's dream. I walked in, said, I'm ready to go.
One last question. What would be your message to current soldiers, ICE agents, and National Guard that are being ordered to do illegal, non-constitutional things on a daily basis?
You don't participate, right? Weaponize incompetence. You walk out here, you look good, you be a prop for the government, help people with their luggage, but absolutely do not raise your weapon. As a citizen, don't participate in anything you know is illegal. You tell them demons whatever they want to hear up front in the streets, and especially I'm talking to the NCO Corps, because the NCO Corps is really what holds the military together. That makes us unique in all armies. The NCO Corps, I believe the non-commissioned officers will hold fast to the Constitution. We knew how to play the bullshit game. We've had bad commanders before. We let them do their thing, man. But out here in the real world, especially if they're not the type of commander that lead from the front, they're not gonna know what's happening from the field. You send their ass some bullshit report. And by all means, stay the fuck quiet. Do not expose yourself. If you got a grievance, bring it to the veterans. We can talk shit without being subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice. But we need you there. Somebody with a fucking conscience got to still be here to hold the line. And I understand that it's terrible for you. It's terrible to see people. It's terrible to see.
I want to ask you guys this question. Whether you are conservative Republican or liberal Democrat. From what he's stating, do you believe that his belief system is predicated upon conservatism or liberalism? Which one do you believe he falls upon? What party do you think he sways? Or do you believe that he's just standing on truth? Because myself as a non-commissioned officer, I know exactly 100% what is referring to. And and I'll just give you an example. You would like to believe that officers, commissioned officers in the United States Army know the law, know the regulation, and follow it here. No, it'd be the non-commissioned officers that actually keep officers in check and out of jail. We'll tell them, well, we're going to, Sergeant, we're going to go and do this. Like, sir, we can't do that. Why that? Because Army Regulation 620-10 states this. Well, can't we just do this? No, sir, you need approval from the colonel. We're the ones who keep the Army afloat. We're the ones who are the bedrock of the armed forces, our non-commissioned officers or petty officers in the Navy, wherever you may be. Whatever service you may serve, and every non-commissioned officer knows this. How many of you guys out there who were non-commissioned officers in the military and you had to save your officer's butt? Whether it be legally or at war, because he was probably giving out some orders that were unlawful. And we're like, sir, we can't do that. We're the ones who care about the betterment of the soldiers. They just care about the mission. See, as a non-commissioned officer, your duty first is to the mission. But in order to conduct the mission, all non-commissioned officers know, and we knew that we had to take care of our soldiers. Because if we don't take care of our soldiers, then they can't do the mission, and then the missions fail. See, the missions ain't about the captain in place. The mission is not about the colonel in place. It's about the overall picture, about what it may accomplish. So that is why we adhere to rules and regulations and keep this boat afloat.
See democracy burn around you, but you really are a last line of defense. And for you kidnappers known as ICE agents, understand this. You will never be fucking forgiven for your crimes, ever. The soldiers, I can understand. They took an oath. They're duty bound to be there. They can't just quit. You could fucking reclass tomorrow and go work for FEMA or do something else. If you choose to put a mask on, if you choose to send people to concentration camps, if you choose to do that shit, you will be a mortal fucking enemy forever. When that fucking demon is gone from the White House, you will be hunted, just like you hunted them. You will be hunted. You will never have a fucking moment of peace. Period. Out of everybody I despise the most, ICE is at the top of the list right now. You guys are fucking traitors, man. And the fact that you let Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and all these fucking insurrectionists on the team That lets you know, man, listen, I'm going to tell you something too, to you Proud Boys. I don't give a fuck if that felon anoints you in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. We're not going to recognize that shit in these streets. Understand that shit. So when you come out here, be ready for those one-way missions. All right, it's all fun and games until you deal with heavily armed veterans who are willing to match and see your energy. Hell will flash trees over before I let anybody in my family be taken. Period. I don't give a fuck. And you can tag that fake ass God of War himself. Fuck him too. Right? I don't give a damn about any of these demons, man. ICE is an absolute scourge. You should hold your head in shame forever for the shit you're doing. You will never be forgiven for that shit. If you had a straight and dignity, you will reclass tomorrow.
Boy, they let the right brother speak today, didn't they? And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a black thing he's referring to. He said veterans. Because the veterans are looking at this, black, white, Hispanic, and Asian. We're all looking at this like, what the hell is going on? Because the one thing that we hold sacred is the Constitution. Federal troops are in place to uphold the Constitution. And now it seems as though that the president is blurring the lines when it comes to Constitution of what he can and cannot do. And in some regards, it's disrespectful to use the armed forces, even like the National Guard, even though they're on a state level and they're usually ran by the governor until they enact his presidential powers and get approved by the Supreme Court in order to take control of those state National Guards. I understand what this brother is referring to because I agree. I've been saying this. I've been kind of leading up this for the last week or so as I'm preparing this video for you guys. This kind of gathering a lot of the content because we're about to go through some very viral video clips here. I'm not going to be doing too much talking later on. You probably like that. But nonetheless, I want to show you guys exactly what him and I are referring to when it comes to the chaos of ICE agents and some of the atrocities and abuse that they have put upon the American people. And it may not affect you yet because it's not near you. It's not in a public space or downtown where you live at. But as this begins to spread, it's like a virus, right? It's like a disease and a widespread. You will start being affected by this as well. So let's get into this. Now, it says here, you see that's not the one. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I want you guys to look at this because now they're saying they have right-winged fake Antifa trying to spark clashes between ICE agents and people who will possibly be illegal immigrants, all right? Or just starting chaos, right? They just want things to break out even worse than what they are. It stated that these two pretended to be Antifa and were trying to bait protesters by videotaping them and sneaking around. So they were called out, and guess who they were? MAGA's finest, Joy Gibson of the Patriot Prayer Group and his girlfriend. If you don't know who they are, look it up.
I've been trolling the shit out of him for years.
Want it? Okay, great. Thank you. You made it really easy.
That was his proof, okay? That was his proof of who they were. But this is some of the things that they keep saying it's the left, it's the left, it's the left. And then the right are being, they're trying to really ante up this whole situation when it comes to ICE and people on the street, right? They're literally sparking a fire, and they're not trying to put it out. They're not trying to extinguish it. They're adding ether. They're adding jet fuel to the mix. These are provocateurs. That's what they are. Now let's get into some of these ICE videos so I can again provide context.
Broadview police respond to a 911 call claiming someone was tampering with a gate at the ICE detention facility there. Body camera footage obtained by the CBS News Chicago investigators shows several Broadview police officers respond to an alleged homeland security threat. The gate in question is where ICE takes detained immigrants for processing.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
Not much.
How are you?
Good. We got a call of subjects trying to climb over the fence or something.
Not since we've been here.
But when police arrive, all they find is two people and a camera. Our CBS photographer filming the exterior of the building with a CBS security guard by his side.
Okay, you guys didn't tamper with any of those?
No, man. The 911 call claiming someone was tampering with the gate came from an ICE agent. According to this incident report, an ICE agent called police for help.
But he can't go and try to force his way in that door.
Okay, so the guy in the
He just says
No,
that
the
he
guy
was
in
just
the
recording.
camera.
Do you believe that that was a false call?
I do.
Again, it was just our CBS photographer filming the exterior of the building.
In your mind, bogus.
Yes. It's disturbing. It's ridiculous.
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says this is just one of several questionable 911 calls his police department has received from ICE at this facility recently. This same detention center has become the site of at least 3 other incidents involving federal agents who are accused of hitting people with cars, shooting projectiles, and using chemical agents on journalists, including a CBS reporter last Sunday.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just warming up here. That's just one clip of ICE violating people's civil rights, constitutional rights, social rights, any rights that you could possibly have in the streets. ICE is violating it right now. And that is what that veteran was getting at. They are making fake 911 calls to take local police officers off the beat so then they can go in and raid certain areas without any local oversight, without any interference from local police officers. And some people are like, yeah, that's good. Again, are you telling me it's okay to break the law in order to uphold the law, or what they believe they're upholding the law? Is that what you're stating? America is flipped, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason, President Trump being in office has got people's head up their butt. Like, at first, it was about the Constitution. It was about your local laws, your state laws. It was about upholding truth to power, all these great things that America was for. Was the rule of law, But now it's not about the rule of law. Well, if Donald Trump said it's okay, then it must be okay. He's the president. Oh, because now you have somebody in office that you may like, or you believe that he's better for America, someone on board, you drunk the Kool-Aid, whatever it may be. Are we crazy right now? The reason why people come to America, they say, well, it's the freest countries in the world, have free enterprise, free trade. You can build businesses. And you have all these rights. What is America without the Constitution? What is America without federal, state, and local laws? What is America? It's exactly what we're about to see here tonight. This is exactly what it is. It states right here, these ICE agents are out of control in Chicago. This one's aiming a loaded weapon at a woman just for filming him as he hunts immigrants in broad daylight. This shit is beyond effed up and only a matter of time before one of these losers pulls the trigger. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. You're just there exercising your right. You're not harming anyone. You're not being physical. You are in a public area driving down the street and you are filming ICE and he points a loaded weapon at you. This is what I'm referring to. These are cowards. These are traitors. Absolutely. Because when you look at this, one thing you learn in the military, when you're handed a weapon, even before you get your ammunition, you go through all these safety training. One of the rules that you learn, one of the very first rules that you learn is never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. I know everyone who ever joined the military, that just hit home for you. Do not point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. That is a threat. If she would have pulled out a gun and shot him, she would have been lawful self-defense. She would have been lawful by him pointing that weapon. Now, he's already at the ready. There's no chance she would have even made it. If he's trained, she would have been shot dead. But in those regards, it would have been self-defense because that is a threat. That is I'm about to kill you. I'm about to take your life. I don't think that's not just a warning. That's not just a warning. See, something you can do as a warning. If you have your gun, if you're in a Humvee, if you guys know what I'm referring to, you're in a Humvee and a local start coming up to your weapon, you keep pushing it, keep coming up to your vehicle, to your Humvee, to your MRAP. And you say, hey, back up, back up, back up. You just raise your weapon up, back up. And you said probably in Arabic. But nonetheless, this is kind of recalling some of my time overseas. But nonetheless, that is a threatening way of like, hey, listen, this is serious. Or he could have simply rolled up his window. Now, again, the two are very different. I'm in a war zone. I don't know who's friend from foe because both look the same. But these are on the American streets where somebody just had their camera up at you. I'm tired of you apologists in the comment section trying to take up for unlawfulness in America. People are being very unlawful, and we need to call it out. We need to call it out. It says police scanner captured the incident in Chicago. ICE agent shot a woman through the windshield in the arm and leg. They jumped out and started shooting at her. The victim said, according to the officer, she went to the police for help. I don't know if she bumped them and they took off, the officer said, but she ended up here. An ambulance was called and is now being investigated as a crime scene. I want you guys to see this damage. This was the woman. She was shot 5 times for putting this dent in an ICE agent car. The dent is right here, ladies and gentlemen. Can you guys see that? The dent is right here. She got shot 5 times for that. Now, there are in some cases where you have vehicular homicide, but there's no way in my right mind by a bump. This wasn't multiple bumps. This was one bump. And you can tell it wasn't even that much damage. You can probably pop that out with a dent puller, do a little Bondo, smoothing it out, repaint it. Nonetheless, the point I'm getting at is here is that she got shot 5 times for bumping an ICE agent's car. And once again, this is in Chicago. Now, of course, I'm not speaking about all ICE agents, but it's beginning to be very common here in Chicago. Here's another clip from Chicago. These guys got military armored vehicles out here just for protesters. You see how they catch you? And some of you are going to enjoy that. This is America. And America is looking like a third world country right now. America is looking like a war zone. It's the war on illegal immigrants. No, it's not. Can we be real for a second? ICE agents could walk the street all they want and not harass people, and people can protest as long as they don't get physical. If you get physical with any agent, federal agent, state or local, you need to be incarcerated. If you are impeding their investigation, if they have legal warrants and you try to prevent that to happen, you should be incarcerated. Why am I like that? Because you're going to have people like, oh, it serves them right that these things are occurring. Some people are going to be for that. But again, on here, Blacklogic, I have to stand on 10 toes down on the truth and 10 toes down on the law. And I know a lot of people's emotions get involved, which side they want to take. Stop taking sides and take the side of the truth. Or how about this? We all say we love the Constitution. Do you think that this was lawful? Heavy military presence outside the Broadview ICE facility in Illinois, Chicago. Snipers can be seen atop armored vehicles and protesters are being arrested. This guy has a weapon pointed at the crowd. And he's in an armored vehicle. Just to be transparent, it looks like he has a paint gun. So he might just be shooting paint bullets, okay? Looks like it because he had a plastic hopper. I used to paintball. Looks like a paint hopper. Now, the question is, should state police local police have military armament, military equipment, military vehicles. Now, I've debated about this very quickly, and I'm not going to speak too much on this. I believe in some capacity they should. Not that they should have a fleet, but they should have a couple of vehicles in case there's people who are trying to build camps that they may have to infiltrate. A lot of hate groups, a lot of political cults, they like to create camps and they fortify these camps. So local and state police, before the FBI or anyone else get there, they probably need 1 or 2 vehicles that are up armored. But showing an up armored vehicle and you hanging off the back like you guys about to go raid a place or just come from a raid on American streets, this is straight lunacy. This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Can we call a spade a spade? Can we be real? Can we be authentic about this? Can we just tell the raw truth? We're talking about this is America's streets that we see this on. Usually you will look at a war video from Iraq or Iran or the Middle East somewhere, Afghanistan. You will see something similar to this. But not this in American streets for protesters. Let me show you this too, because again, this goes on with the ongoing violence of ICE. Because as we're looking at raw footage from this one right here, court corridor, we're going to look one from hospital ERs and sidewalks. We know the ground rules. Long-standing DHS sensitive location guidance discourage enforcement in these places except in extenuating circumstances. And then the later guidance narrowed and shifted, but medical settings remain high risk for rights of violation and litigation. And when it comes to the courts, multiple states and localities restrict civil immigration across these arrests in and around these courtrooms without judicial warrants to prevent a lot of the chilling access to justice.
Get out the fucking elevator!
These are straight thugs with badges. These are straight thugs with badges. And again, I know you're going to have some people to try to give excuse for this behavior. You didn't have to pull that man and throw him down, and it started a chain effect with an innocent woman and another man got hit and fell to the ground. Hopefully they're not injured. But these are the ICE agents that we're referring to. And this doesn't refer to every single ICE agent. These guys and all these clips you're going to see here of these thugs with badges, treating American citizens like scum. I don't care what side of the political party that you believe they're a part of. They're a liberal or conservative. I do not care. American citizens, let alone people in general, should not be treated in this manner.
Who is that? Yeah, give him some room, everybody.
You want to go with
Yeah, I got it.
yeah, if you want to help right now.
All right. All right, you guys good?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody. All right.
Yeah.
Someone actually got injured from that encounter. Not even the gentleman that he threw out of the elevator got harmed. It was the third guy who got hit while I was falling. I think he bumped his head on the ground. This is lunacy, ladies and gentlemen.
They created. Oh shit!
I saw you last time. We're gonna body check him because
Who is talking to you? No. Hey, this is the line that they created. Oh shit!
That was premeditated. He was going to spray them regardless. She didn't, I think she took a half step forward. She didn't really invade their space. She was asking them a question why she was videotaping them. These are absolute gangsters right here. And I thought, again, Constitution, the First Amendment protects speech, assembly, and press. So either she was exercising her freedom of speech, her freedom to assembly, and her freedom of press, asking him questions, and he doesn't have to answer them. Let me tell you what makes this also awful. Because ICE agents can cover their face. What if police officers could cover their face? I want you to think about all the illegal acts that police officers actually conduct. Okay? We have all these crime movies. We see that some police officers are corrupt. What if they could never show their face? Like in Mexico, certain people can't show their face. Right here in America, why aren't these people showing their face? Are they fear of revenge? Are they fear of retribution? What are they fear of? Why they're covering their face? Why the local police officer are not covering their face? It seems as though you're covering your face, you have something to hide. You don't want to be identified for some of the things that you may be doing out in these streets. Because I've seen very few ICE agents cover their face. I've seen very few ICE agents cover their face. They act as if there's some sort of military enforcement, special ops that they cannot be identified as they walk the streets. No, you're doing heinous acts, sir. You guys are doing heinous acts. That's exactly what they're doing.
What is he being pulled over for? What is he being pulled over for?
Ladies and gentlemen, they just ran up to this vehicle and they just try to pull the door open. And the lady wants to know, why is he being pulled over? Why is he being pulled over? Is this a traffic stop? Is this a raid? And he's trying to break the window. He didn't even give any identification. Have you noticed that? In any of these instances, they have yet to give proper identification. Oh, their proper identification is on their suit vest. Listen, you can go to any costume store. You can go to any, what you call them places you just buy secondhand stuff, thrift stores, and buy some of the same clothing and equipment that ICE agents have. No, where's your ID to say that you're an ICE agent? You know, when FBI comes to your door, they show you their FBI badge. Where's your badge? Where's your proper identification? Now, some people are like, well, when police officers pull you up, they don't have proper identification. Well, I would like to believe 99% of police officers are not just going to run up to your vehicle and try to open your door and then try to break your window. If anything, there's two procedures. If you're getting pulled over by a police officer, he comes up from his police cruiser that looks like a police cruiser. He has his badge on, he has his badge number, his name. When he say, hey, can I have your license registration? And you can look very clearly like, oh, badge 351, Officer Davis. But now with these ICE agents, they don't have any identifying mark. Now he's showing his face. So I'm glad she's recording it. But a lot of them don't even have that. This is not proper procedure nowhere. Nowhere. And they won't answer any of their questions. And again, I heard them speak in Spanish, so they must be Hispanic. That is my belief they're Hispanic. Let's see.
There's a child! There's a baby! There's a baby, bro! Open the door! There's a baby! Can you guys have a little bit mercy, dude? He has a 1-month-old! He has a 1-month-old!
Right now, America is being traumatized by America. America, right before our eyes, ladies and gentlemen, are imploding. Now, I do want to show one of these videos. Give me 1 second here. We had where ICE agents actually took someone and slammed them. But I guess that video, something happened with that video.
Close in! Close in! Rest
Now, did you guys see that? Unfortunately, that man right there was pushed by someone behind him. And I don't know if these state police officers seen that or not, but then they grabbed him and threw it to the ground as if he did something wrong. I want you guys to see this again. I wish I can have in slow motion. Look at the push in his back right there. You guys see that? They're pushing him. They're literally pushing him. Look. Now, that's one of them situations where I scratch my head because I don't know who's to blame. Was this just a setup? He knew he was going to get pushed and possibly taken down to make them look bad? Or was the state troopers or police officers here not paying attention or what was going on and just bump them back? I don't know. Now, I want you guys, and don't get me wrong, there's aggressive black police officers as well. But when I look at ICE and I'm looking at these state troopers here, this guy right here is super aggressive compared to this guy. Now, if I'm out there protesting for whatever cause I believe, I would love 1,000 of these guys right here, this black guy right here. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some aggressive black police officers. Don't forget 5 of them killed someone. I'll just say that. It's hard to say. Killed our own. And it wasn't even gang violence. Lord. Black America, we have problems of our own. I was watching some video clips. This is a one-off. Give me 1 second. I was watching some videos of a pride parade where majority of the participants, unfortunately, were black, and a brawl broke out. Then I saw a young man by the age of 15 and 18. I believe this was in Harlem, New York, where someone got shot. It was just a bunch of people out there video recording, acting wild, and it was us. Now, I'm pretty sure in New York, there was a lot of black immigrants, so I can't blame that all on black Americans. But ladies and gentlemen, America is unrest right now. And this is just a public service announcement to foundational black Americans. This is a time where we go sit down and chill with our family and just go to work and keep our head down. We keep calling out these tethers. We keep calling out the atrocities of this government. But for the most part, this is the one we need to sit out. I hate to say it, but we need to sit out because they're attacking everyone. They're using us to attack everyone. They're using the government, our own brothers and sisters who wears the uniform, police officers as well as military, against the American people. And we don't need to be acting a fool out here in the streets during this time because they'll find any just cause to round people up. That's what's going on.
What you're doing is wrong. No.
Close in! Back! Back! One line! Back!
What's your name? What's your name?
Back!
You see the aggression of the guy on the left over here? He's actually pushing out and extending, okay? And the black police officer has his low and just kind of just making a barrier for them not to pass as he's backing them up. Now, granted, I'm not stating everything the guy on the left is doing is wrong, but he's been super aggressive in my opinion. I'm again, that's just my opinion.
Step back.
This is America, ladies and gentlemen. And now we have people out here impersonating ICE agents to kidnap and assault women. That's what we're doing right now. They're using, and the reason why they can get away with this is because ICE agents are hiding their faces. And as I told you before, they can get these uniforms from any costume or secondhand store, thrift store. They can get these offline so they can impersonate law enforcement. Do not forget, here comes Halloween. There may be a lot of fake ICE agents on the street, and they're up to no good. They're either trying to harm someone, steal someone, or R-word someone, take advantage of someone. So please be careful during these times because now they're using ICE agents in order to do more corrupt, on top of what ICE agents who are in official capacity to do illegally. That is what's going on.
Juan Espinosa Martinez, they got his screenshots off his Snapchat because he thought it was just going to disappear. They got him in custody now, but he was releasing that he was willing to pay, and he works for the cartel, of course, $2K on info on these agents, and then $10K if you take them down. Now, what he means by taking them down is assassinating them.
Yeah, you heard the governor talk about Greg Bovino. If you don't know who he is, he's the chief patrol agent. And DHS is saying that this guy who you're talking about, Lawrence, allegedly placed a bounty on the commander at large of the Border Patrol chief, and that's Gregory Bovino. He was on with Sean last night talking about this issue. He says that this guy, this 37-year-old Chicago resident, Juan Espinosa Martinez, was charged with murder for hire. He was arrested yesterday. He is a ranking member of the Latin Kings, which is a gang known for violent crimes and drug trafficking across Chicago. He's from Mexico. He came to the United States illegally. And yes, on Snapchat, he was offering thousands of dollars if you take down Bovino. And he put a picture of Bovino on there.
Right, there you go. And by the way, who are the thugs? According to the governor, the thugs are the ones wearing bulletproof vests right there. And the guy in the middle, Latin Kings, I guess the governor's fine with that because these guys are running wild throughout Chicago, are really thriving for the last 20 years, but they don't want any help. Matt Scorpino says this, targeting senior federal officers is a brazen and direct assault on the rule of law, and HSI will remain persistent, dismantling violent gangs like the Latin Kings that threaten public safety.
Now, this is one of the ones where I totally agree that investigative work actually works and that you do targeted attacks of people who are illegally in the country, and especially aspiring to eliminate and assassinate public officials in their capacity. This is what I should be doing, targeted attacks. Because guys like him are going to link to other gang members. They're also going to any other people who may be illegally in the country, whether you're a gang member or not. If you're illegally in the country, you've already broken the law. But right now they have everybody running for the hills. And that doesn't mean running back to Central America. That doesn't mean running back to Haiti or Africa. That doesn't mean running back to Europe, Eastern Europe. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean running back to China, running back to India. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that a lot of people who are illegally in the country are now in hiding. And yeah, they may have some American citizens who are on their side that may even hide them for a year or 2 years until all of this cools down, or even till President Trump gets out of office. I think we would have fared better at this so-called mass deportation if we would have did it with a scalpel versus a blunt, a sledgehammer. I think we would have fared better if we would have did this with a scalpel versus a sledgehammer. Because now we might created a problem more than what we've already. Now we have people, part of cartels and gangs, seeking to assassinate public officials, people who are chiefs of the Border and Custom Patrol, seeking to assassinate top officials. Now, is he doing this simply because there is a mass deportation law and order? I mean, that's basically what they're doing. Or is it the way that ICE and all these other federal agencies are going about mass deportation? Me personally, I would like to believe it's both. I would like to believe that it's both. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this particular one is because ICE is exploring 24/7 social media monitoring with a contractor. That's what ICE is doing right now. They're going to have watch centers and data fusion like LexisNexis or Clear. And basically this should alarm every American, left or right. They're going to do mass scraping, risk dragnet dossiers on lawful speech. Anything you say, anything you put in social media is going to be recorded. And it's going to be one short step from public safety to political surveillance. Our First Amendment rights are being slowly taken away right beneath our eyes. And the Supreme Court hasn't fully reckoned with the AI scale monitoring, because history tells us that surveillance tools expand and sunset clauses vanish. That's where we are today. I got one more thing to show to you guys. No, matter of fact, I got a couple more things. Bear with me here, because I want to show you this as well.
Information of who he is, so you can leave him alone. He's going to remain silent. You have no arrest warrant either, so let's go. Let's go. Let's see the arrest warrant then. You don't have a right to let go of him. Let go of him. Where's the arrest warrant? You don't have to talk to him. Yes, he's not going to talk to you. He's going to stay quiet. He's not going to say anything. You have no confirmation of anything. This is the third time pushing down the elevator to go down, and you're preventing us to go downstairs. You're preventing us again. You're blocking the elevator. Third time they were trying to go downstairs. You can go. He's coming with me. You have no idea who he is. Let's go. Let's go this way. Again, you're holding him without an arrest warrant. Let's see the arrest warrant, sirs. Let's see the arrest warrant. Let's go. Where's the arrest warrant, guys? And what's the reason for the arrest? Say, shake your head, yes.
Now, I want you guys to picture yourself in this video. Let's take his race out. Let's take his ethnic out of this, because he seems to be Hispanic. But they're showing up here at the building. They don't have an arrest warrant. They don't have any just cause. And it seems that he's being represented by his lawyer. They don't even know who this person is. And they're just rounding him up. I want you to picture that. Now, don't get me wrong. That's happened to foundational Black Americans for a very long time. It's almost stating like, where your freedom papers at? Like, you're innocent until proven guilty. Excuse me, you're guilty until you're proven innocent.
Thank you very much. Where are we going?
This is what's going on in America, ladies and gentlemen. And I really wanted to touch on this very quickly. I don't want to cover too much Charlie Kirk stuff. I kind of already went over that. But it was this video that Candace Owens, I believe this was just yesterday, about some of the text that Charlie Kirk in this on this group text about how he's pulling away from pro-Israel and that he's been losing donors. Now, this is the I forgot what this is. Timcast News. Okay, I want you guys to look at this very quickly.
I'm really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab.
All right, now this was shown on Candace Owens' show, I believe, or some people will call her Candace Owens. Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this. This is coming from Charlie Kirk. Leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Now, 2 days later, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I'm not making a link. There is no evidence and or proof that Israel had anything to do with his assassination. But a lot of people are coming out and they're believing that Tyler Robinson, the alleged assailant in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, they believe that he's the fall guy. Then they also had a patsy, an older gentleman. Soon as Charlie Kirk got shot to a wound to it, got shot in his neck, this patsy stood up and said, "I did it." This was an older gentleman, and there are some links that are in or around. Now, again, as we start building as people are building this case, I'm not building this case, as people are building this case, there's a lot of conspiracy theory as well as a lot of truth. There is a lot of controversy and there's a lot of connecting the dots like, wait a minute, that makes sense, that doesn't make sense. But nonetheless, I'm gonna let this play just a little bit so you can understand what I'm getting at.
Grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friend's trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So one of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public, it was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care. We're not investigating every lead. We're not looking under every stone. And that somehow we're just like, sweeping things under the rug. And when I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really mean it, and no stone unturned. I mean, I don't know if you want to chime in on that part alone, but I have more to say.
Yeah, so it has been so frustrating to have people blow up about this.
Yeah.
And I've certainly stated publicly, the reason I haven't weighed in on things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said, don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
That's 1,000.
I don't think you guys would have messed up a trial by releasing those texts. If he say he's stepping away from the pro-Israel cause because he found out that if you say anything that is criticizing Israel, then you're anti-Semitism. So he was stepping away from Israel. 2 days later, he got assassinated. But ladies and gentlemen, America is looking like a third world country right now. Unfortunately, majorities fear political intimidation more than crime spirals from not deploying troops domestically. I don't believe Americans want militarized policing of dissent. They want lawful policy of crime. Now, if anyone is for some of the violence you've seen here that has been deemed unlawful, as well as in some court cases and the detainment of certain people just because of their ethnic and or racial background, you are a racist if you support this. You may think you're doing this for the betterment of America and upholding the law, but if you agree with some of the tactics, basically violating people who unfortunately are illegally in the country, they have some constitutional right, due process. Even Donald Trump contradicting his 2019 legislation that he passed into law that people who are furloughed and are essential workers will get back pay. He wrote that into law. Now he's contradicting that. If you guys in some regards accept the level of violence on certain people, the harmful of innocent civilians, then it seems as though you guys may be fascists. It seems that you may enjoy an authoritarian government. And in some regards, people who comment and try to excite conflict, even in comment sections, I would like to believe that they are accelerationists, that they want this country to implode. So then we become a dictatorship. I wonder what accountability looks like to those people. And if ICE agents are going to cover their face, and a lot of them don't even wear body cams for that accountability and transparency, I believe there should be body cams on all participating federal teams. Public after action reports when force is used, and judicial warrants shown on request. That's what needs to happen. They need to have warrants on request, and also reveal their name, badge numbers, visible. And then some of the crimes that are inherently occurring because ICE agents are covering their faces. If they stop covering their faces, then they can go after the men who are assaulting innocent women. Maybe people just love civil unrest. We need clear MOUs between feds and local PDs to prevent a lot of the escalation and to respect municipal sanctuary or protest of policy. When you guys look at this is bigger than left versus right. It's power versus principle. Because if America is still America, then the Constitution limits everyone. It limits presidents, agencies, and the angriest crowds alike. Now, to the veteran that's calling for consciousness, he needs to stay loud. And to the protesters, know your rights and film absolutely everything and lawyer up. And to the agency, honor your oath, not the optics. Because when the cameras cut and the smoke clears, the only thing standing between a republic and a regime is the rule of law. It's applied equally. And for the crimes that a lot of these thugs with badges are committing against the people, whether they're illegal or legal, you're going to receive yours, either in this life or the next.